Hey, so I was just talking to my boss about something pretty interesting. We were talking about retention and whether you should try to retain people at the onboarding phase or if you try to resurrect people who have churned and are now dormant. And I gave him two different philosophies that I heard, and he said, this is his word for word response. He said, that's the difference between experts giving advice and non-practitioners giving advice. Basically, the second opinion that you gave me, that's non-practitioners giving their advice, but I'll explain it to you more. And as soon as he said that, I knew that that was something that was going to be gold for the course that we're creating on retention. Anytime there's commonly followed advice that is wrong, you know you have a powerful 1-2 punch piece of content for your course. Part one is obviously the content part, right? Just knowing that this is the right way to do it and this is the wrong way. And part two is you have this powerful positioning trump card that you get to play in your course that you're creating, all right? And the value of number one, the content, is pretty clear. So I'm just going to focus on talking about part two, number two, which is this the trump card of this positioning trump card that you get to play. So it's one thing to know that you are a practitioner and that you know something that other people don't, right? That's one thing. You get to feel superior, whatever. But if you are using this content to create people, it's useless just to know it internally, and you have to put that into the course. You have to put it down onto the page so that other people know that you're the expert, right? You have to point out that you are the expert, you are a practitioner of what you teach, and you know how it plays out in real life. And then you have to take this point and you have to hammer it home over and over and over again throughout the course, right? If it is an 8-module course, let's say, you should be talking about it at every single module. Every single chance you get to remind people why you are the expert, you should take it. This is what we call, like, it's classic us versus them, right? Let me give you an example of what us versus them looks like. The classic example is, let's take screenwriter, okay? Screenwriting. So one way of framing this is writers will tell you that you just have to let the characters speak and you just kind of let the structure flow and the story will come out of you naturally, right? But after reading 100 screenplays and talking to producers and seeing how many of those screenplays got made into movies, how many writers got paid, I can tell you that screenplays had these three things in common, and this is a standard or a formula that you can follow. They all had 3 acts. Every screenplay had 100 pages, and the inciting incident for every single one of those screenplays happened between pages 14 and 16, right? So you can kind of, let me just like break down what I did there, right? It's a very simple formula, but it has infinite possibilities. You can be as creative and incorporate as much storytelling as you want, and you're going to have a great framework. So to break it down, it's what they say, right? They, the other person. You give that's part one. Part two is you show your credentials or your expertise, right? So in this example, I said after reading 100 screenplays, right? Obviously that could be punched up more, but you get the idea. And then finally, here's the truth of the situation that you probably didn't know about. And so what's going on there is you're setting yourself up as the gold standard that everyone should follow, and everyone else is sort of beneath you. Just a quick note on that. It also has to be true. Like, you can't just make up that you read 100 screenplays. Like, all your expertise should be based on reality, right? Don't just make shit up. A couple more examples, right? Dating advice. Some people will say, oh, just be yourself. But after working with 100 different clients and teaching them how to be more attractive to women, I can tell you that you have to do a lot more than being yourself. For example, dressing well. Hey, turns out that's a really good idea if you're trying to meet more women. Another example is fitness, right? People will tell you that all you need to do is watch what you eat and walk more. But based on the 30 clients who have lost 20 pounds or more on my program, I can tell you that trying to start an exercise program immediately is the best thing that you can do in order to lose weight, whatever. Okay, so that's basically this is how the formula works. People who do this really well, Ramit Sethi over at I Will Teach You to Be Rich, he basically laid down the foundation and taught me all about this, taught me everything I need to know about this. Gary Vaynerchuk, he does this a lot with his, in his recent talks. He'll say something like, people love to give advice. People are headline readers. They love to give advice, but they are not practitioners. The reason why I'm so good is because I'm a practitioner. I use Snapchat, Facebook Messenger, Instagram more than my 20-year-old employees. That's why I'm the best, right? So that's kind of how they frame their expertise. Obviously, you need to do it your own way. Don't just copy from Ramit. Don't copy from Gary. But that's how they do it. And that's about it. So the us versus them, it's a really powerful framework to include in a course if you're creating courses. So that's it. Let me know if you use it. Would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks.